we're starting to get there with all the ones who wanted to take part. I'm going to start to present myself. My name is Amanda, and I'm from Venture Lab. This is a new platform for us, and potentially even for you as well. So I'm going to invite you all to have a look around in the area afterwards when we have talked. You can go around and see the stage. You can see the expo areas where you can learn more about both us at Venture Lab and also our guests We Make Change and Dear Christian. I'm going to start by presenting Venture Lab and our offer for the students at Lund University first. You can also find here that you can answer a poll where you can both answer if you heard about social entrepreneurship before and if you heard about the offer that Venture Lab have for the students at Lund. But I'm going to kickstart and tell you some more about Venture Lab. So Venture Lab is a part of Lund University and a part of LU Innovation. Together with LU Innovation and LU Holding, we are kind of like the innovation part of Lund University. We help students, and we are the ones that can guide you to really start creating your idea and your to push forward. We are both in Lund, and we are also in Helsingborg and Malmö. See the word? Let's start with it. New platform. In Lund, where we have our main office, we are mainly doing stuff like this, having events to tell you more about innovations, entrepreneurship, and help you out. At Malmö, we are more like inspirational events held at the Faculty of Fine Art and Performances. And in Helsingborg, we also have more events. And right now we have this e-commerce program actually running where you can start your own e-business. The Venture Lab team consists of 8 people, where you can see here in the pictures. We have Ylva, we have Cecilia, Louise, me, Louise, Tilly, Johannes, and Karsten. Together, we are the Venture Lab team. Karsten, you can find in Helsingborg, and the rest of us are based in Lund. The mission we have at Venture Lab is actually to help you guys to make your ideas actually happen. We want, like our slogan is, empower students to create the future. And doing this, we have our inspiration events like this, and we also have business development and our incubator. And by having these 3 different concepts, we want more students to believe in their ideas. So first, inspiration. We have a lot of different events. We have the trend spotting going on, which I will talk more about later. We also have these webinars that you're looking at right now, and we have this flagship event we call Believe in Your Ideas, where we invite around 30 to 60 people, women and non-binary, to take part of this weekend filled with workshops and events to, kickstart their ideas. We also have an event series called Breakfast and Ideas, where we have a small gathering, talk a lot about what we can do together and kickstart each other and eat some breakfast together and chat. We also have our own podcast called Innovationspodden. It comes out once a month during this spring and hopefully also in the autumn. We were excited to release our new episode next week. I hope you will listen in and hear more. And we also have this big event called Lund Innovation Challenge, which is a 3-day event during the autumn semester where we do it all, workshops, and it's a competition where you can take your idea into something realistic. And it's, you can win a place at our incubator. You can win different prizes from our partners. It's super fun. So we have 2 more big events planned right now in the trend spotting area. It's the future of food, how we eat into the future. There are actually pretty soon. It's the 25th of March. And we also have what about preventive healthcare? How does disease affect the future of mankind? It's 27th of May. Trend spotting events are event where we have a panel discussion with different people from different areas, like professors, students, startups, that are talking about a trending theme. I think the next one, the 25th of March, is going to be a blast. So make sure to join. You can find the event here and hop in. And the second part, the idea and business development. It's free for all students. You can book as many meetings as you want, but start off booking a first meeting where you can talk about our three business developers about how, yeah, you can progress. You get help, you get a push, you get, yeah, the opportunity to talk and really like invest in your idea. And the third thing is our incubator. The incubator is at Lund, at the Science Park. It's for all students registered at LU, Lund University. We have also there the business development part. We have great coffee, good Wi-Fi. And right now it's like almost 40 projects going on there. The incubator right now is closed due to pandemic, but we're trying to open again this autumn. The incubator is the main place for our community and of course our network where we can help each other and push forward. So yeah, Venture Lab, it's the startup hub for students at LU. We bring benefit and growth to society. We work hard, but we also play hard. We are making sure to build long-lasting relationships. We believe in equality and sustainability. We have an open and collaborative community, very important, and it's your innovative student ideas that make us possible and make this world possible. So if you want to know more, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, our website where you can learn more, or just send us an email if you have any questions. And I'm actually going to ask you if you have questions right now to keep them because we're going to actually invite on our guest today from We Make Change. It's Jens Christian. I'm going to ask you to take place. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Amanda. And thank you for the invitation. I'm delighted to be here. And I will be talking a bit about We Make Change, which is a social enterprise registered in the United Kingdom. I'm just trying to see if I can share. Okay, let's see here. I actually made a little presentation with a lot of great colors, so you don't have to always look at me. Let's see here. There we go. I hope that works. Okay, yeah. So a little bit of a background for me. So I am the Chief Operating Officer at We Make Change. And again, we're a social enterprise based in the United Kingdom, but our whole team works remotely. So I'm actually living in Finland right now. But it's very cool to be back home because I come from what I would call the Öresund area. I was born and I grew up in Denmark, and then I lived there for most of my life, and I also studied part of my university studies there. I studied law, but it wasn't really my thing, so I decided to move to Sweden, and there I continued my studies in international relations. So I combined that into a bachelor's degree that I got from the University of Gothenburg. But I lived in Malmö for those years, and I was really convinced that with a background in politics, I was supposed to work for a ministry or some other institution. Do you hear me? Okay, great. So I decided to be closer to a capital city. I wanted to try something else than Denmark, so I moved to Uppsala to do my master's degree in political science, which I'm yet to finish. And I do know that I'm a bit of, that's the rival university, but that was closer to Stockholm. I've yet to write my master's thesis, but we'll see when that will happen. But I think a lot of people who are studying specific topic believe that they're going to be stuck in this specific field. It was the case for me. But what I did when I was studying and aiming towards a career in international politics, whether it would be for the United Nations or for the European Union or for instance, the Swedish Foreign Ministry. So I worked towards that by attending United Nations conferences around the world, which is, for those who don't know, it's a role play where you pretend to represent a country in one of the United Nations committees. It could be the Security Council, and then you can address the Yemen crisis, for instance, and then you represent that country and pretend to care about the opinions of that country. I thought it was a great way to get experience about how political processes work in international organizations like the UN, but it was also a great way to network with people from around the world. So 4 years ago, I went to New York to attend one of the conferences, and it was at the UN headquarters. And here I met a lot of great people. And one of them was James Sancto, who had then just founded We Make Change in the UK. I followed it for a while, kind of volunteered here and there. But last year I onboarded 100%, first as a global community manager and then later as chief operating officer. And it was very interesting going away from this idea that I had to work in the public sector, that's where my future was. That's where I was supposed to make an impact. But now I am technically in the private sector, making an impact. So my presentation today will be a bit about, I'll use a bit of my background in political science to talk a bit about the UN and the Sustainable Development Goals, then who's responsible for it, and then how we in the private sector can make a change. So the agenda is, what are the SDGs? Who's responsible for them? How to make change? And then I want to give a few examples of social enterprises, 3 examples of social enterprises that are based in Skåne, actually, and who are also a member of We Make Change. So what are the SDGs? As you can see, they are all here. You might have heard of them. I know that Sweden really works closely with trying to address and carry out these goals by 2030. They were decided and adopted on the UN General Assembly in 2015. And the goal would be that we're supposed to carry out the goals before 2030 or by 2030. Before that, we had the millennial goals from 2000 to 2015. And naturally, you would think that, okay, if these goals are all decided by governments around the world, then naturally it should be the governments who are carrying out these goals. But we do not believe that's necessarily the case. Furthermore, also because if you've ever attended a United Nations conference or have knowledge about the United Nations, you would know that the majority of resolutions are not legally binding, meaning that, oh, a country can sign off on these, but still not really report in what is the country doing to address these targets. It can give countries the opportunity to just pretend to make change, but not necessarily carrying it out. So among all of these goals, there are also targets. So each goal has a range of targets underneath it. I think in total, there's 169 targets based on these 17 goals. And We Make Change the work with all of them, but mainly with number 17, the partnerships for the goals. I want to talk about the responsibility. Going back to this question, or the thing about the UN SDGs being sort of decided by governments. And I know that in Sweden, also the municipalities work closely to reach these goals, and the government focus a lot of them, which is a good thing. But a lot of governments are very different. In the Nordic states, we have the welfare state, meaning that we have certain perks. When you think of the quality education SDG, the good health SDG, so that's 4 and 3, and then there's SDG 5, I would say as well, gender equality, are also climate action are very focused on by the government in Sweden. And in the Nordic countries, we do have access generally to quality education. We have access to university that is paid through taxes and healthcare and so on. So we are covered on certain goals in the Nordic countries, but they can always be improved. But it's not the case in many other countries. So putting the responsibility alone on governments is not sustainable, and we will never reach these goals by 2030 if that is the case. But what about intergovernmental organizations? My background, the link would be international organizations, but I don't want to create any confusion. But here I mean organizations like the UN. It can also be the African Union or ASEAN in Southeast Asia. And it can be the European Union, which is, of course, more supranational. So we've given some of our sovereignty to the European Union so they can make legislation that can affect us and can go towards reaching the targets. For instance, it can relate to CO2 quotas and so on. But still, intergovernmental organizations don't have the power to really get there by 2030. So what about the NGOs? We all know NGOs, big international ones like Amnesty, Save the Children. Other ones are Red Cross, for instance. There are also local organizations who are doing local work in your community. There could be one in London, one in Malmö, who are specifically focused on these cities. But these organizations, the problem with them is that it's fair enough that the change is sort of being outsourced by governments. So the NGOs are pretty transparent in what they do because they rely on funding from governments and private donations. So they also have to clarify sort of what they're doing, but they're not super effective because of that. They're very bureaucratic, and a lot of the focus is we need funding for the next year. We need funding. We need to plan how to get this funding, and a lot of the time that NGOs spend is on funding and getting the funding rather than making actual change. So then there's the private sector, big corporations. You all know them for all around the world. Facebook is a great corporation out there, or Apple. There are certain initiatives in place to make sure that these corporations do make a change. That would be through corporate social responsibility and also national legislation, depending on the country, on how what kind of social change the organization has been doing throughout the year, every year reporting that. But in the private sector, there's also social enterprises. They're also called social businesses, and they're also called mission-driven businesses. And that's sort of where we make change come into the picture. We believe that social entrepreneurship is a bit of a hybrid between the values of an NGO, so to speak, the social impact, but then the business model coming from the private sector. So being a startup that's not relying on the public funding, but can gain revenue and investment to accelerate and upscale and make a real difference. So that's why We Make Change work a lot with social enterprises. I'm going to tell you a little bit about We Make Change as well. So We Make Change, our purpose is to give anyone, anywhere the opportunity to change the world. And we support individuals. So if you're a student out there who want to make change, we can help you with that. Or if you are an entrepreneur who maybe already started or really like build the foundation, or you're up and running, but still in a startup stage of a social impactful enterprise, we can help you as well. And our services are free of charge for individuals and social enterprises. So becoming a change maker, how does that work? Well, of course, I'm invited to represent We Make Change. So I'm also going to promote the platform that we have, because we're working with more than 400 social enterprises from around the world, in more than 100 countries. And we have about 25,000 change makers signed up who want to use their skills to make a change. And every day we post a project, so a social enterprise on our platform that you can apply to support using your skills. But how do you figure out the first step to become a change maker? A lot of people I've talked to, especially in my age group in the 20s, always think about, I want to make a change, but I'm not sure how to get there. So we have the PAT framework, which is just something we made up at We Make Change, but it stands for passion, ability, and time. So a great way to become a change maker is for you to do an exercise after this, where you look into what are your passions. You can use the Sustainable Development Goals as an inspiration for this. Figure out what you really care about, because everyone cares about something, whether it's climate change, it's quality education, it's gender equality, and all those things. There's always something you care about. Once you figure out what you really care about, you have to figure out what's your abilities, what are your skills. As a university student, you are developing general skills, but you can also develop very specific hard skills. We focus on a wide range of skills that can be used. It can be anything from finance to marketing to web development to general research. It could be writing. There's a lot of different ways to use skills. So figure out what your skills are, how you want to develop those skills, and use them to make a change. and also how you want to build on your CV, grow your international network, meeting like-minded people who are looking to make a change in the world. The T stands for the time. So you have to figure out how much time are you able to give. You're working full-time, it may be limited. If you're a student, you might have times where you're very busy because of different exams, but it might also be that you don't have so much time during the semester and between semesters. So a lot of the projects that we have on our platform requires around between 2 to 8 hours a week. So figure out maybe 4 or 5 hours a week is something you can donate to gain experience, to make an actual change, because you can make a difference with these skills, and your value is very, it is valuable. If you compare it to donating 100 crowns compared to donating an hour of your skills, there's a lot of value in these skills. So that's why the social enterprises utilize these skills, because there are people out there who, like you, who want to make this change. Some people see volunteers as a bit of a burden because, oh, they have to have specific tasks that we need done, but they don't necessarily understand what we do. Go away from that, because a lot of volunteers are very skilled and want to make this difference, and they have the expertise that you may not have. Social entrepreneurs end up spending a lot of time caring for the baby, which is the enterprise, which is understandable, but then learning skills that are not your main expertise. For instance, I need a website, I need to learn how to code. I need a logo, I need to learn how to make graphic design. No. There are people out there who have these skills and who want to support the cause that you are addressing as a social entrepreneur. And this way you together can change the world. And if you're volunteering as a change maker for a social enterprise, there's also this aspect, the prospect of employability once the organization can scale, because a lot of social enterprises are always thinking about funding. How can I grow my impact as a social enterprise? I need funding so I can hire people. Of course, in an ideal world, everyone would get paid for the work they do. But as a startup, part of a startup myself, I know that it's a lot of hours with no pay. But that's how you make change. And that's what it requires. But in the end, it will be great. You will have a great feeling about all the work you've been doing. And you continue to do, because you are changing the world. You're taking matter into your own hands to make a change. And we believe social enterprises are the future of business. In the future, all companies have a social impact. Nobody wants to work for a company focused only on profits. And that's going to change the market. That's what we believe in. I want to share a few examples. I see the first logo actually didn't work apparently. But here are 3 organizations that we have that are all based in Malmö actually. The first one you cannot see, the logo is a circle. It's called Spear, and they are working to create a safer tomorrow for women, not just in Sweden, but from all over the world. They have created an app that that builds a community for women supporting each other. They made a survey saying that 92% of the respondents did not feel safe going home at night in the evening. So they are creating partnership with the stores and bars whenever they can be open, cafes who can sign up to become safe spaces. So if you're walking home and you're not feeling safe, you know where you can go to feel safe. This organization, Spare, is online on our platform, and they're still looking for people to join. So there's an opportunity. The same for Progress Me. They address through an app the victims and the families of victims of, perhaps victims, very strong word, but people who have experienced eating disorders. So this organization, this social enterprise, is trying to solve an issue that may not be addressed on a national level by creating this community and creating evidence-based or sharing evidence-based research and tools to work towards a future beyond a eating disorder. Then the last is the Ecolution, which is actually the founder is a London alumni, so I thought it would be great to bring this along. But they're creating, they're changing the construction industry with prefabricated natural fibers and for isolation in new homes, and it's CO2 negative. So here is 3 examples from your local community of organizations that are making change in the world. And you can become a change maker as well. You work with the Venture Lab, getting started on your enterprise. But there are also a lot of great tools to use. There's Social Business Canvas if you're looking to start your own. You can create a theory of change. So a theory of change is understanding the challenge that you want to address, and then have a clear, defined, sustainable solution to that problem. So you have a theory of change, and your organization is its existence based on making a change. So this was my presentation, and I am open for any questions. Let's see here.
I think we got a question here. Let's see. Yeah, from Alvaro. Christian, such an inspiring story. I think you can see it in the chat as well. You mentioned you offer your service at no cost for social enterprises and individuals. I am interested to know about your business model and how do you support yourself financially? Are you able to grow organizationally, or do you depend on external finance?
Yeah, thank you for that question. At We Make Change, we're very transparent about what we do. So we started 4 years ago on the platform. We launched it 3 years ago. And it's been a lot learned by doing. But since last summer, the past 8 months, we've increased our membership base for around 250 members of social enterprises. And we've launched almost 150 projects from around the world. But at the moment, nobody's getting paid at We Make Change. We're working full time on this, but we are working towards rolling out our business model. And our business model is, so as I said, we had individuals, and we had social enterprises, and then we have companies, so corporations. So we are offering a CSR solutions for big corporations who want to engage their employees, because employee engagement is very important, especially during COVID, when everyone's working from home. So we help these organizations engage their employees and supporting causes that they care about by creating volunteering events for these employees where they support social enterprises that are members of We Make Change on a day with a specific theme of skills. It can be the marketing department from a company, and they will support the social enterprise 4 or 5 hours for one day, using their expertise to help the social enterprise. So we make sure that the CSR money that these corporations are using are being spent well on making actual change, but also that the employees who are working for these corporations feel a sense of purpose because they have made change throughout a whole day, and they have the opportunity to work beyond the day with these social enterprises. So we really want to have a model where we don't want to charge social enterprises and individuals to make change, because otherwise we cannot reach the Sustainable Development Goals. So it's like a principle we've had. But we have a business model, and we're still working on it, but we're starting to get the first customers in. So it's a very exciting year, 2021, for We Make Change. Hopefully that's
awesome. Yeah. Any other questions? I think you should be able to also maybe join us on stage if anyone is up for that. I also want to just kicking another thing that it's so very welcome to start at, like us at Venture Lab, getting help from us, and also get help from We Make Change. We're not like competing organizations. We help each other out, and we both want the same thing, to like create a better future, basically, thanks to like all these brilliant ideas and you brilliant students that have like this opportunity to make a difference. So you're very welcome to reach out and ask more questions, and reach out to us afterwards.
Exactly. Help get started with the Venture Lab. They have a great expertise, while we can help you with the people who have the expertise who would like to support your team from all over the world. So it's a great opportunity to learn from different people with different backgrounds. And I would also like to say that one of the organizations that we had, they had a changemaker joining them, just volunteering for the organization, focus on branding. She ended up joining as a founding member. So that team is growing, and they say it's thanks to us. So it's always like, I feel like then I made a change.
Yeah.
I made that connection through the platform. So yeah, and you can always go to wemakechange.org and read more.
And I think you also have you have the opportunity, since we're doing this new platform called Hopin, you also have this way you can go into the expo area. There you can find more information about both Venture Lab and We Make Change. And I think also that Jens Christian will be able to answer some questions directly in the session at the expo area in a couple of minutes. And I think if we don't have any more questions here, maybe we should jump over to the expo area.
Sure, we can do that.
Let's try it out. Oh, now I got another question in the event chat. Okay. How can I work for one of the companies you mentioned?
Sure. You go to the website wemakechange.org, and one of them is not on the website yet. They don't have a project yet, but will come soon. But the first two have the one focused on the women's safety, and the one Progress Me that's focusing on addressing eating disorders. They are on the website. But you go to the website, you can create a profile and get onto the individuals page, and then you can get, every Monday we send a newsletter about these are the new projects you can join. Here are the change days that we also do for change makers around the world. Anytime we open up applications for those days, you can apply as well and try the live volunteering experience that we facilitate. And you will also get information about case studies and so on. But you can also go on the projects page on the website, and there you can just search Control F and search for Progress Me, for instance. But just scroll through it. You can also, we have very limited tech at the moment, but it works out for us. But you can also choose specific skills that you have at the top on the projects page, and then it will filter for those skills. If it's closed, it will say it's closed. But otherwise, if there's a lot of open projects and they're coming in new ones every day.
Awesome. That's great. We got another question from Jessica. What was the name of the enterprise whose logo didn't work?
Right. It's PHER, Spirit. I wrote it in the chat as well on the stage. So it's PHER, and they're based in Malmö.
Nice. Close by. That we like. Locally is good.
Exactly. Those three are based all in Skåne. So we're looking to venture more into Sweden and support more great social enterprises so we can make a bigger change.
Awesome. I like that. We should look into what we have for different social entrepreneurs at Venture Lab as well. And maybe we can connect them. Okay. That we should connect more about the social innovations that we have at Venture Lab, so maybe you can help them as well.
Yeah, definitely. We'd be happy to. And here's the specific project I just wanted. If you're looking for that.
Okay, then I think we're gonna try out the expo area, everyone. So we're gonna leave here and jump over there, and you can ask some questions directly to Jens Christian. Okay, thank you for being here at the stage area, and welcome over to the expo area.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye for now.